AEW saw a sizable jump in ratings this week, which still didn't bring them over 800,000 viewers, and isn't that more than just a little sad? It's time for the Headlock Headlines! Hello, I'm Marvin, and I'm the Movie Monster. Welcome to episode 14 of the Headlock Headlines here on Tooney Wrestling. We are not journalists, we don't break news, and we are not a credible news source. We are just a channel that likes to poke a little fun at the wrestling news cycle. WWE just returned from its whirlwind tour of Saudi Arabia, which we covered extensively on the show last week. But, to put it lightly, the WWE raked in a lot of money last week.
That's putting it very lightly, jobber monster.
Well, we're being joined by our old friend Trip from the WWE, and, Trip, wait a minute. Where are you?
Oh, I had a money bin installed here in the new WWE headquarters to house me fortune that I made from these Saudi Arabian shows.
Wait, is that the money bin from DuckTales?
Bless me, bagpipes, jobber monster. Where else was I gonna put all the money?
First of all, stop talking like Scrooge McDuck. And second of all, maybe try a bank?
But if it's in a bank, then I can't swim around in it like all codzillionaires do.
That's not a real number, and you're not Scrooge McDuck.
It's not all sunshine and rainbows, though, having all this money. There are some real risks involved.
You mean like taxes and scams?
No, I mean a demented sorceress hell-bent on stealing me number one dime.
Trip, magic of dispel isn't real, and you are not in DuckTales.
Life is like a mystery here in Stamford.
You're gonna get us demonetized.
Sledgehammers, crotch chops, and getting old perverts kicked off the board.
Ugh, stop giving me new song parody ideas. I've already got 6 of them in the works across both channels.
Look, the point is I made a lot of money and put on a show that the world is saying was borderline acceptable.
Well, you certainly didn't take many risks, I'll give you that.
When you're in a nation that decapitates and crucifies people, you tend to play it pretty safe.
I can't blame you on that one, but there was one thing I was personally very thankful for in the last week.
What's that?
The fact that you made Gunther the king of the ring.
Well, it was just another of my brilliant ideas to—
Wait, let me explain on that thought. It's that you made Gunther the king of the ring and not Jey Uso.
What's your problem with Jey Uso? He's massively over.
No, he isn't. Jey Uso isn't over. Yeet is over. Jey Uso is a lower mid-card talent at best who can't talk, can't wrestle, and doesn't even look all that impressive. He's a decent tag team wrestler with his brother, but he's proven that since his singles run started, that unless he's working with Roman or somebody else who could pick up the slack and carry him, he's a mid-tier, borderline awful performer at best.
If that were the case, the WWE Universe wouldn't cheer for him.
They don't! The WWE Universe just likes saying yeet! That's it! When his music hits and he comes out, they don't pop because they're excited to see him and watch him wrestle. They're excited because they're saying to themselves, oh boy, I get to say yeet now.
I think that's grossly unfair.
It's the same thing that happened a decade ago with Daniel Bryan and the Yes Movement. Despite the fact that Bryan was one of the very best, if not the best, wrestler in the entire world at the time, the fans got excited for him because he pointed at the sky and said yes, and that was fun to do with him. Now, the difference here is that Bryan's raw talent eventually won the crowd over, and he was over without the yes chant.
Hey! You're supposed to be a WWE shill. I read that all over Twitter. Why the hell are you dragging Jey Uso?
Jey Uso works the same style as the Young Bucks, and if I hate that style of wrestling in one company, I hate it in all companies because I'm not a damn hypocrite. I hate the hot dogging and the super kick parties no matter where they are.
What Jey does is not a super kick party. It is a sweet chin music hootenanny that makes it entirely different to the point where you should be fine with it, and he preys upon it.
No dice. It's the same thing, and if I were to praise something I've criticized in the past, just because it's on a show that I typically like, what would that make me?
Well, it would make you a modern internet wrestling fan.
Touché.
But whether Jey Uso or Yeet are over, the end result is still the same. The people make noise and buy merch, which means more revenue and higher profits for the company. That's Business 101. If I overlooked profitable business decisions based on the opinions of a few loudmouth neckbeards harping about work rate, well then what would that make me?
Well, it would make you, that. It would make you that.
TK, Tooney Khan, wrestling savior, and he's the bomb. Yeah, he's TK Tooney Khan. He's giving wrestlers hugs, and he might be on drugs. Yeah, he's TK.
Greetings to my ever-expanding fan base. It is I, the one and only paragon of truth, the soon-to-be recipient of the biggest media rights deal in the history of real pro wrestling, the one and only Tooney Khan.
Ugh, I know that I shouldn't be shocked that you're here, but somehow it always fills me with dread, anger, and sadness.
That is the exact verbiage of every online review of AEW Dynamite.
Speaking of Dynamite, didn't you get blown up by Saudi Arabians last week?
You think that's enough to take me out, monster? Ha! As if, no matter how many times I go blasting off again, I'll always be back on your TV next week.
Well, it would seem like that. At least on this show.
What does that mean?
Well, your media rights renewal deal is reportedly not going very well.
Who told you that?
The entire media.
Wait, even you've heard this story?
Yeah, the actual media has been talking about it. It was reported by the Puck's Matthew Baloney. He said that you were disappointed with the offer WBD made. I hope that's not true, kid. I mean, after all the crowing you've been doing for literally the last 5 years about that huge renewal you were getting.
Yeah, that doesn't exactly give you a strong negotiation position.
How do you figure?
Well, you've spent 5 years saying that you don't want to leave these networks no matter what, and that you're banking your entire profitability plan on them making you an offer.
And a big money offer at that. I believe $1 billion figure was being tossed around at some point.
No, it wasn't.
Yes, it was. Your media puppets and fans have been spouting that figure for over a year. You banked your entire profitability plan on this deal being monumentally huge.
Guys, no one is saying that I'm getting $1 billion deal.
Aw, guys, AEW is getting, like a $1 billion deal.
What the hell, man?
And there's the main culprit now, Dave Meltzer of the Wrestling Slobserver newsletter, the pocket of noxious gas that slithered its way into a sack of human flesh in order to spew lies to the benefit of AEW.
Look, Dave never said I was getting $1 billion deal.
Yes, I did.
No, you didn't.
Yes, he did. And here's an article from a year ago stating that you were landing a new deal with WBD reportedly worth $1 billion, and that article cites as its main source none other than Dave Meltzer of the Wrestling Observer newsletter.
Well, Dave was wrong.
I'm never wrong.
Well, you're wrong now!
Man, it's always so awkward when you watch a couple fighting in front of you.
So, is it safe to say that you are in fact disappointed in the offer you got, Tooney?
Not at all. This is an absurd lie made up by some hack with no credentials.
He also accurately broke news that WWE was going to sell to Endeavor.
Everyone gets lucky sometimes?
Oh my god, how bad is this deal?
It's not bad.
I'm guessing it's pretty bad.
It's not.
If it wasn't bad and you're not disappointed, then why haven't you accepted the deal then?
Because these deals are very complex, monster. You wouldn't understand. You have no experience with these things.
Explain it to me then.
No.
Huh. The evidence is piling up.
Phrase I keep hearing around WWE HQ lately.
Oh, that one's gonna piss some people off.
Yes. Yes, it is, Jobber Monster.
I have it on good authority from, like my sources that Tooney Khan wasn't disappointed with the deal.
What sources would that be, Dave?
I never reveal my, sources.
Can we replay the camera that was on him when we cut away to me and Trip?
I don't give a damn what you have to say or how it makes you look, you pathetic butt-fucking old man. You tell them it's a lie now or I'll never let you talk to Will Ospreay again.
That's taken out of context.
Totally out of context.
All right, what was the context of that conversation that we're missing right now?
That boy howdy, we sure had a great pay-per-view last week and a stellar Dynamite with a huge increase in viewership.
Would this be the pay-per-view where Edge broke his leg, you lit Darby Allin on fire, you gave Mercedes Mone a belt in her first match, and then buried your world champion in the mid-card?
Yes!
There's so much to unpack here, but let's start with your world champion, Swerve Strickland.
First African-American world champion, thank you very much.
Yes, I recall you touting that, but in his first pay-per-view title defense, you put him against Christian, a guy who's nowhere near your main event scene, and then you didn't even have the main event the show.
Well, that's because we had to do Anarchy in the Arena.
Swerve was red hot, and his win over Samoa Joe had generated some real positivity around your brand. But then you immediately put him in a competitive match against a job guy on Dynamite, didn't let him speak until Collision, and then had an eternal mid-carder curb stomp him for weeks, only to have him beat said mid-carder in the middle of the card. All so that you can prop up a storyline that no one likes or cares about, starring you, the idiot who cost you the biggest star you'll ever have, the friends of that big star who have worn out every bit of goodwill the fans have for them by being festering twats on social media, and the anti-pop equation itself, the Young Bucks.
Anti-pop equation?
Yes, it's a simple formula. If X equals the number of viewers a show currently has, then the equation for anti-pop reads MJ plus NJ equals negative X. In other words, these men make appearances on your shows and immediately people tune out. They are ratings cancer.
That's your opinion.
It's not, though. It's proven by numbers compiled every week in graphs by Brandon Thurston of WrestleNomics, who then yells at Awful Wrestling for sharing them on X.
Those numbers are your opinion.
No, numbers are facts. An opinion is saying that Will Ospreay is a good wrestler.
No, that's like a fact.
No, it's not. Numbers are facts, and opinions on quality are opinions. And I don't care if you think he's the best wrestler in the world. I don't care if you think the Bucks are doing great work on TV. The reality of the situation is that Will Ospreay has done nothing to help ratings since signing, and the Bucks actively kill ratings whenever they show their faces.
According to your opinion.
And this is what you put over your world champion, a guy who could be the face of your entire company.
Well, that's silly. I said clearly that the face of the company is Mercedes Mone.
Which was a stupid thing to say.
Yeah, well, she said it to me. She put her hand on my shoulder. And she started squeezing that shoulder with her talons until I agreed to say it.
And you gave her a championship in a first match, then followed that up with a celebration with a giant cake where you smiled like a moron and tried to start a CEO chant that didn't catch on.
Hey, she deserved that win.
How?
Because she likes Eddie Guerrero.
How does that make her deserving of a championship?
I don't know. That's the reason she gave me.
But you have a ranking system that says wins and losses matter.
No, I don't.
Yes, you do.
Not this week.
I can give you a pass for Okada's title shot because he pinned Kingston in a tag match before challenging for the title. But I can't justify you, the man who went on a tirade temper tantrum about Jinder Mahal getting a title match because he hadn't won a match in over a year, giving someone a championship match in their first ever bout in your company.
Look, I know I said that wins and losses matter, but Mercedes reminded me of one thing that you're forgetting here.
Yeah, what's that?
She's really mean.
How could I forget?
Oh, that reminds me. It's time for my hourly check-in with her to tell her that she's the greatest women's wrestler of all time. If I'm even so much as a second late, she breaks out the ukulele.
You better get going then.
I'm coming, boss. You're amazing, by the way.
Wow. I know, he's awful, but people like him and they tune in for him, so I gotta use him prominently.
Huh. Interesting. That's kind of like someone else we may have discussed earlier, isn't it?
No, it is nothing like that.
How is it nothing like that?
Because, alright, it's entirely that. I concede.
Say it.
No.
Come on, say it.
I won't.
Do it.
Yeet.
Yeet!
Happy now?
So happy. In fact, there's not a single thing that can bring down my mood right now.
What about the fact that Becky Lynch's contract is about to expire?
Oh, please, you think I'm worried about that? Her husband already works here and we made her a star. If she needs time off, she can take some time off, but where do you think she's gonna go?
What the hell?
Prepare for trouble.
I'll make it double.
To protect the world from sports entertainment.
To produce the world's best wrestling content.
To denounce the evils of Trip and Steph.
To ignore all criticism as if we're deaf.
Tony.
Dave.
Team TK blasts off at the speed of light.
Surrender now and tune in Wednesday night.
Meowth! That's right!
Are you, wait, was that Meowth?
Yeah, I got him to come here to do that 4-second spot. It only cost my dad $8 million.
I thought you guys left. Why are you back?
Because I heard through the grapevine and the listening devices I had implanted in your room that Becky Lynch is going to be looking for new employment soon.
Tooney, she's probably gonna re-sign with... Wait, you have listening devices in my room?
She'd be stupid not to come to AEW. It's where the best wrestle, and I'll give her an insane amount of my dad's money and full creative control.
What happens when her creative control runs afoul of Mercedes' creative control?
Oh, I call that the Punk Moxley paradox.
And what did you do?
I hid under my desk until Punk threw his hands up and said, fine, just do whatever the hell John wants to do. You're all children and clowns, and I hate it here.
It's shocking that he left.
I know, right?
But regardless, I can't see Becky Lynch going to AEW.
Why not? It's where the best wrestle, and it's where spectacle lives. I mean, look at our Anarchy in the Arena match.
No.
Why not?
Because it was an insult to the entire pro wrestling business. You lit Jack Perry on fire.
Well, it's what everyone was asking me to do. I'm just giving you all what you want.
Who asked you to light that boy on fire?
Everyone was telling me that my big angle with the Elite had no heat whatsoever. Every week I was hearing, Tooney, no one cares. None of this has any heat. So I lit one of them on fire.
Is that what you think people mean by heat?
Is that not what people mean by heat?
No!
Look, I don't know why you're coming down on me. It's not like I'm the first person to use fire on a wrestling show.
Yes, fire has been used many times in wrestling, but it's always used as a finish. Whether it's Mick Foley, a Tommy Dreamer, a Cody, when someone goes through fire, typically that's it. That's the finish. Not only did you lighting this little waste of life on fire not end the match, but he himself then got back up to hit a finisher and win the match.
Well, to be fair, only his legs were on fire.
Yes, and the finisher he hit used his legs.
Why are you so obsessed with this monster? It was a tremendous spectacle, and my Dynamite saw a huge ratings increase this week.
And despite the fact that you were up nearly 100K, you still couldn't crack 800,000 people. But I have to give a rousing congratulations for the massive ratings increase.
Thank you.
To the Big Bang Theory.
What?
For the last several weeks, your lead-in numbers have been really low, which has exposed just how few people actually watch Dynamite. But this week, it seemed as though the Big Bang Theory had a great rating. That first minute of Dynamite that overlaps with the last minute of the Big Bang was over 931,000 people.
That just shows people tuned in for my show.
And by the second quarter hour, aka 15 minutes into the show, those numbers had dropped by almost 200,000 people to 739,000.
Shit.
That's, not true at all. As I, said about your friend, Awful Wrestling, Big Bang only did, a 0.2 rating that night.
Exactly.
You see how that's worse, right?
How is it worse?
If Dave's outright lie is true, then that means hundreds of thousands of people tuned in for the start of Dynamite, and a massive percentage of them immediately left when they saw Mercedes Mone, the face of AEW, may I remind you, cutting an in-ring promo.
Cut him some slack, Jobber Monster. They're clearly desperate if they're lighting people on fire and no-selling it.
Ugh, again with the fire. Look, fire is just another move in wrestling, like a hip toss. People get lit on fire all the time and go back to work.
Yeah, and, hockey players, keep playing with the same cancer Roman Reigns had.
Well, I don't really think we have to go there.
So, clearly, what, Tooney and I are, saying here is that fire is fine and Roman Reigns faked cancer.
That's not what we're saying at all.
Oh, but it's something I said in the past. Here's the quote.
Why are you bringing that up?
Because people need to know this.
Stop showing that quote!
In fact, anyone out there who has cancer, Dave Meltzer wants you to know that you're alive.
There we go. Phew. All right, but seriously, fire isn't a big deal.
I mean, yes it is.
No, it's not.
Yes, it is.
No, it's not. Anyone can be lit on fire and be fine.
I don't believe you.
Well, I'll show you. There. See? I lit my studio on fire, and I'm... Oh God! Oh God! It is a big deal! It's a big deal! Oh God, it hurts so much! Naga, save my VHS copy of Time Cop!
That was kind of mean.
But very necessary.
Well, I'm not condoning these actions, but I'm also not arguing with the results.
Yeah, you're welcome. Now, if you'll excuse me, Sean, get the wieners on the sticks. We're going to a bonfire in Jacksonville.
Well, that does it for the headlines this week. Thanks for stopping by. If you want early access to song parodies and features along with exclusive content like reaction videos, reviews, and headlines direct to commentaries, head over to patreon.com/TooneyTown Wrestling and become a patron today. I have 2 new Tooney Khan song parodies in the works and 1, possibly 2 Triple H songs happening now as well, so look for those very soon. And if you haven't already, subscribe to our movies and TV channel, Tooneytown TV, where you can hear a new song parody about Kathleen Kennedy in Star Wars. We also have a new song parody hitting over there this week about Star Wars The Acolyte and its creator, Harvey Weinstein's former personal assistant, Leslie Headland, and an upcoming parody song about the Rings of Power. Check Tooney Talk TV every Wednesday nights live on this channel at 5 p.m. Eastern Standard Time with clips over on the movie channel. We also got Tooney Talk Wrestling every Tuesday night, so come join in the conversation with us. Please be sure to like, share, and subscribe. Click the little bell icon to get notified of new videos as they drop. For Tooney Khan, Dave Meltzer, and Trip, I'm Marvin the Movie Monster. Now get out of here!